Alright. Start of the third quarter, start of the second half of the year, right? Kick it off with this EoD. We had EuroJPY pretty much sell off for half the day, sweep liquidity there into this 4-hour POI right here, and then move back up. And then unfortunately nothing valid in here to follow. That was nothing good in terms of setups to follow. Come in here, come down. Okay, after we had this eyeballs here, I was vigilant, and this is the POI I had mapped out, right? Because it went up, reaction went out, right? And then I had this as a POI to possibly follow it up, but on the M5 you didn't really get a proper LC2A entry. You did get a iffy LC1, but I wouldn't have been happy with like the rest of the reward ratio, right? Because once it comes into here, you expect some cells to start being high probability, right? So going from here targeting into here would have been a little bit tough for me, because it's not high probability, right? So as I'm thinking, I've encountered quite many or plenty of scenarios where you have 2R, right? Like basically take a 1:2 to the nearest POI, right? When you don't want to target too much and you have the POI, like a POI in your way, and it's probably best to just play the 1:2. But this hasn't really been tested, and don't know how much confidence I'd have in such moves, because I've been strict with my 1:3, but maybe it is time to look into 1:2s as well, right? Where you have, but this is still an iffy setup, right? It's not the best in the world. But it works still, because you also could have had, if you had taken this entire zone, right, the risk entry on a POI, also not the best, but it kind of works if you would go for this one. I think what especially I wouldn't have taken, because it's just too big, man. It's to this POI you only get like 1 point something, 2.2 into, it's a little bit deeper in the POI. So maybe something like this, like where if you're gonna come into a POI, you already have the internal alignment, you already expect the pullback, maybe it works, right? Something I'll look at and see if I decide to go ahead with it in the future. I'll leave this here and add it to my Notion under some notes, where it's something to look at, right, and see if there's opportunities we can exploit with like a 1:2, more especially for scenarios where you are gonna run into another POI before you get your normal 3R target. So we'll look into that and see what happens. And then we took a loss for the day in Euro USD. I think it was a decent setup with 0 complaints on my end. We'll switch to the M50 if I'm allowed to. seem to have a system glitch, and okay, there we are. Alright, easy stuff. We come into London here, sweep of the Asian low, right? Now the sweep of the Asian low, immediate momentum higher. This was a sweep flip where swept liquidity comes down and then it goes up, so you would expect there to be decent momentum in here, or buyers in here to get us to go up. We also had this equal highs target right there, and yeah, we hit SL on that. I think it was a decent trade because pro swing, pro internal, you're trying to play a quick trade up, not targeting for the moon here. We just wanted to sweep these highs, like these equal highs here. So I'd say overall not a bad trade. On another day this works, right? But we did not get it. Then we came to this M15 POI, there was nothing in there, and then pretty much for the rest of the day it was just selling off until the break of structure right there. So with this, yeah, it's a loss, but honestly not bad. I think it's the type of loss you can take. It is according to the plan. And then there was pretty much nothing else for the day. GU, they came in the morning, huge sweep of the liquidity here after we swept the high. I expected it to come in a little bit earlier, it did not. Pretty much continued higher. Maybe you could have looked for something in there, but nah, too iffy. This POI in my opinion was better, and you have nothing in there, no entry, and then it just went down. So in terms of tomorrow, we do have a mitigation of this 4-hour POI. 15-minute swing is bullish, so we'd expect that to continue. So you could probably expect it to go higher, but in terms of continuations, maybe get an IBOS like that, and then we look to play the buys, because right now we just don't have much conviction in terms of the internal being bullish. So wait for that little bit more confirmation tomorrow and see what happens from there. ESD CAD. Why is it on USD? USD CAD. We came in right after a break of structure, right into London. During London, I was looking at this POI in here. During London, I was looking at that POI. Could have worked out for 3R as a risk entry, but I was not happy with the amount of momentum it pushed back in with, even though this time it did work out. But usually if it pushes in with like heavy momentum like this, I'd rather wait for an M5 LC2A entry rather than this. So yeah, missed out on that. Either way, it was going to be a close one, because I think the TP was somewhere here, then it pushes up. So but overall I'd say yeah, decent, not bad, but I'm okay with not being involved in there, because you do get burned quite a lot with these ones that come in with heavy momentum into the POI. So I was waiting for a little bit more confirmation, and without getting the confirmation, it pretty much started buying and yeah, pushed up higher without stopping. So internal is bullish. Maybe we continue looking for buys into the 50%, which is like there, and then start looking for sells once the internal has aligned, or we hit like a major POI in here. Do have a decent 4-hour reaction of this low here. right there, so we could have a turning point here. Would be fair, but for now we'll just wait and see. We'll just wait and see what it gives us tomorrow during London, and then yeah, we'll see how we position ourselves tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. Peace.